Good afternoon, everybody. I wanted to show you today how to access some different materials, some things that we're going to be looking at today and tomorrow, pretty much for the rest of this week. So first I want to talk briefly about the Marking Period 1 grade sheet and kind of our Marking Period 1 plan for the rest of the year. So when you go into the Marking Period 1 folder, all the way down the bottom, you should see the Marking Period 1 grade sheet. And this is something I went over at the beginning of the marking period, but again, this is just sort of checking in with where we're at, because believe it or not, we are here at, today is Thursday the 17th, tomorrow will be Friday the 18th. 1 week from tomorrow, 1 week from Friday, will be the halfway point of the first marking period. We're already halfway through Marking Period 1. So, we, of course, have talked about the signpost journals. We did the first one, Hatchet. We are going to be taking a look next week at signpost journal number 2 together. And then, of course, the third one will be due at the end of the marking period. The Word Nerd 100, most people are doing okay with that. Just a reminder that your 5 self-selected terms, those are due by the end of the marking period, so don't let those go. And then, of course, your 1 self-selected term we'll put up here in Schoology soon. The one-page book review, I am going to edit this a little bit. Remember I said the due dates are subject to change. Down at the bottom, due dates are tentative based on changes to school calendar and teacher discretion. Well, my teacher discretion, I'm going to say, we're going to push that back a little bit. So more on that to come later. But I did want to touch base on the fact that it's halfway through the marking period. So there will be a mid-marking period selfie, a self-evaluation, where we kind of review some of the things we've talked about in class so far. That'll be coming up next week. But really the writing workshop here, this piece, this is what we're focusing on, is the expository writing piece. Okay? Expository writing is the style of writing. Each marking period we're going to focus on a certain style of writing, and for the first marking period I thought we'd start off with expository. So expository writing is basically displaying information. It's giving how to do something. It's usually given about a topic that the author or whoever is writing it is sort of not necessarily an expert, but a subject that they know a lot about. So I have an example that I'm going to upload into Schoology, and you'll be able to see that in today's folder. It's just going to be called Expository Writing Example. But your piece, your assignment is going to look a little bit different. So let me show you what I'm talking about. If we go here into the first marking period, we of course have this week's folder, and then we have the assignments folder. This is actually a new one under assignments. So if you go into assignments, you will see a new assignment here added just before the bottom. It says Expository Writing Rough Draft. When you click on that and open your own document, you'll have to go up here to the top. Of course, mine looks a little different because it's a teacher screen, but up here you will have a part that says My Document. You'll need to click on that, click on the document, and it'll say Open in App. Here's, bring it up real quick here. Here's what the paper will look like, okay? Or the document, I should say. So like I said, expository writing is a style that displays information. It's kind of like a series of steps or how-to. There's lots of examples that you see in everyday life. Recipe books, instructions, tutorials, walkthroughs, how-tos. There's way many different ways that we can display information in expository writing. So you're going to be tasked with writing your own expository essay. What I want you to do is I want you to tell me how to do something, some sort of task or process, something that you know how to do, and I want you to explain how to do it to me. You're just going to need a rough draft. I'm only really requiring like a paragraph, but when I say a paragraph, I'm talking about number of sentences. So a paragraph is, 5 to 7 sentences, give or take. Really, with expository writing, you can split the steps up in terms of your spacing, and you can include things like pictures if you want to. That sort of helps with a lot of step-by-step how-tos, helps you see it as well as read about it. So that's sort of more up to you, but your rough draft basically goes right here in this box below. You can type your rough draft, or what you can do if you're someone that prefers to handwrite stuff, especially while you're still thinking kind of out loud, you can certainly do that on a separate sheet of paper. I'm totally fine with that. Just please make sure that you take a fairly clear picture of it and attach that picture into here so I can see it. That's that's going to help me really see your writing the best. Okay, so either type it in here or handwrite it, take a picture and upload it. After that's done, what's going to happen is I'm going to look at it, maybe make some suggestions, some revisions. Those are going to go down here in this box. Okay, and I'll make sure they're just listed out. And don't think like it's a gotcha bad thing, like I'm going to just list here's all the stuff that's wrong. No, I'm just going to focus on maybe 2 or 3 really important things that I think, hey, here's some changes you need to make to improve this writing. Because that's the goal here. We're trying to improve our writing. Then your final draft, which I just noticed a little typo, your final draft, which will be your rough draft plus the revisions and suggestions that I'm making, that'll go down there. And the final polished version, I am asking that it's typed. So even if you did your rough draft handwritten, I'm asking that you type out your final draft. So the advantage of typing your rough draft is that it's right here. All you need to do pretty much is copy and paste and then make the changes you need. Don't just copy and paste the same thing and submit it. I'm just going to unsubmit that right back to you and ask you to fix it. Okay? So that's essentially what we're doing with the expository writing here. We're just thinking of a how-to process. I'm going to have a separate graphic organizer that you can use to kind of brainstorm and come up with your ideas. And I will be sharing that with you in a separate video. So stand by for that.